All right, guys, this is Dave Witchard, President FFL Velocity. Today, I think it's kind of like a special, right? Hall of Fame podcast, we're going to call this one. But I was blessed to do that in 2021, I think it was. But I share share office. I guess it's our office, but at the end of the day, they run the office. They're here every day and working, not every day, but I mean, they're in the office when they need to be. So it's pretty cool to see that happen because I saw them kind of growing in the business. Both are new to the business. One had been here a little bit longer than the other one, but no experience other than, what they've learned this year, pretty much. So without that, I'll kind of introduce them one by one, but Robby Wells is the first one who hit Hall of Fame.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, you get a lot of applause. How's that feel?
Feels great.
Yeah. And then the other one is our buddy, Mike Curry. Say hi, Mike.
What's up, everybody?
It's that happen. So what I want y'all to do is just kind of let's reflect back. Just tell us briefly your story. So I'll start with, I'll go to you, Mike, first, since we rotate back. But talk about like before you came here, how you came here. Briefly, just tell your story, and then talk about, hey, like when did you just say, hey, I'm going to write Hall of Fame, and then how that looked in the beginning, how it kind of maybe got scared along the way because you're like, I don't know if I'm going to hit this, and then you hit it really at the end, right? So, but you stayed the course. So just share us with us a little bit of the story, your background, that kind of thing, and then kind of how this process worked for you.
Yeah, for sure. And Dave, you and Robby, I appreciate you guys having me on. I love being in here around you guys. So, brief background, I was doing appliance repair before this, married, got 2 kids. I found this opportunity through Grady Polson from a previous network marketing style business where I was not very good at it, but kind of followed him, saw what he was doing here, growing an agency, and I had reached out. He had shared the Rogue IMO video, and I think what really got me was
on that. And I'm gonna go to Robby too, because Robby started here, coaching background, whatever, and started with little experience, and maybe just tell briefly your story to start, and then again, you guys started, you're a little bit before him, but really you guys didn't hit the ground like fully run. You ran some last year, but really this was a year. What clicked for you?
Well, yeah, my back was against the wall when I came to Family First Life, and was basically in financial ruins, and had always worked in the educational system where I was actually getting paid by taxpayer money, which means that you're overworked and underpaid. So when I came to Family First Life, I'd never really sold anything. Kind of like you, Mike, it's just a different background. Yours, of course, was fixing appliances, and mine was coaching and teaching and politics. But, I did. My back was against the wall, and I just looked at some of I'm going to do it. It wasn't one of these rah-rah type experiences for me. No, I was just very matter-of-fact about it. I'm going to do it. And so I went and did it.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that question. I didn't decide the Hall of Fame till June.
Okay. But you didn't make it. Robby made a decision at convention, so this is a plug for convention, obviously. But you were there at convention, right?
Yeah, and like I said, so
yeah,
it's accountability. And I know you say you're not down here much, but you have a very large impact on, honestly, the entire company, but definitely us and being around here. And it's like, it's motivating. And like I tell people all the time, like I'm in Dave Witchard's office. Like I that's a prideful thing, and I'm very humble and appreciative to have that opportunity. So, being in an office like I wouldn't have hit Hall of Fame without it.
Yeah.
And it's all these small decisions that you make along the year that cumulatively add up to results.
Yeah. And it's fun to watch Mike grow and see his business grow and things like that. And I'm just blessed to be in business with him and Robby and be able to come down here. And we've been blessed with a lot at Velocity and just having the leadership of Sean and Andrew. So we've just continued to, pour that back in and give wherever we give. Like I don't look at Mike I look at him as our team. Like we're all one big team. Like it was funny. I got a text. Mike knows about this. I don't get it all, but I got a text the other day from Sean, which you can get a text from Sean. It's pretty serious, right? And it says, "Hey, is Mike Curry on your team?" Like That's what he thought, right? And I'm like, no, he's with so and so. I said he is like my team. Like I treat him
Right.
that way, but at the same time, so. But that's how you have to. I think we all have to do it. So if you're in an office, people come there. That's my plug for that. You got to encourage them, treat them like your own, but understand they're there for their team. You know what I mean? So, but I think this. But Robbie, you made that decision at convention. So take us from convention, Robbie, and some of the things you did that some habits you had, some habits with dial days, some things you changed, some pitfalls that they would avoid, things like that to help you hit Hall of Fame.
Sure. Well, one thing that I wanted to make sure was that I was getting better and better on the phone, which I've gotten better.
We're good.
Pretty good on the phone now. But when I come into the office on dial days, I want to be able to set at least 10 appointments from the time I get here at 7:30 and start dialing at 7:30 in the morning until around noontime. If I can set 10 there, I know that by the end of the evening, I'm going to get another 5 or 6 appointments from people just calling me back because I give them that simple little message, and it's the same verbatim, same message every time. It's just, Mike, this is Robby, call me back. I don't say my last name. I don't say what it's about. Just, Mike, this is Robby, call me back. And they call back, and I set the appointments because I just have a conversation with these people, and I let them know that I'm local. By saying that you're local, you put it that you're on their side. So that's one thing that I just stayed very consistent. But at the same time, you've got to understand that when it comes to the different lead vendors and the lead sources that we have, it kind of ebbs and flows. So you cannot be one of these people that is just so strict, says, well, I'm just going to do it this one way. Because if you just do it that one way, you're going to put yourself right out of business. You've got to be able to look at what's going on and see which one is doing the best for you. And the best way to do that is to always diversify your lead source. Like right now, I have 3 different lead sources that I use, okay? And I always have the CRM leads because with WorkSpots, you get discounts on those CRM leads. Then I save about $2,000 a month. So you know what that does? That gives me more leads for the same.
Robby on there does just a good job. Like it's basic, but he does a good job and he teaches and whatever. But it's funny as I was kind of chuckling a little bit, thinking I dialed the phone for the first time in a while the other day. I almost caught myself going, "Hey Mike, this is Robby. Call me back." But no, it's Dave. I've heard him say that so much. I almost did that jokingly, but no, seriously. But that's really how basic it was, and I even did that a couple times. Call me back. So. Anyway, Mike, what are some things that you would say right now? So looking back, if you'd have made that decision, say, at convention, would you have gotten there earlier? Or timing's right. You got it done. That's the bottom line. But what are some things you would do different or some things that you would do that would, somebody's right now starting, hey, I want to do Hall of Fame. How do they do that? Maybe some tips and things.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously the lead spend has to be a priority. I think that more consistent lead spend, you can consistently get better, learn word tracks. There's so many different people that like I'm not me. I don't come up with this stuff, right? I take all of these things from different people that I hear that works, and I think that mindset of what really changed everything for me in the home is my mindset. And I got this watching Sean's Psychology of the Sale video. And it's just understanding why we're there. We're there to help people. Obviously, you got to really care about people. And something I really learned to do is dig into the why really deep. Don't just allow one sentence responses as in, what was the purpose of filling this, card out? And I just want to take care of my final expenses, right? I guess in the past, and a lot of people probably look over that okay, so, we'll take a look and go into the presentation if that's what you want to call it. Whereas I'll dig into the reason why they want to cover their did you lose somebody? Dig into why, what pushed them, the emotion, because I don't sell anybody anything. They sell me the whole entire time on why they need it, and then I use that to help them make a decision, right? Because you have to lead, guide, and direct. Right. So Sean says it all. So his selling, it's order taking. I don't feel like we're selling anything, but his style that. Care about people, right? If you're not willing to get uncomfortable in the home, you're selfish. All of those things hit me deep. Who am I, right? Who am I to walk out of a house without helping somebody? So it's really weird. Somebody filled out a form, right? Again, so the mindset starts in the beginning, right? They filled it out. They want the coverage. Objections are fake, right? And everybody wants this. That's got to be your mindset. Anything else, and you're selling yourself short.
Right.
Right. So you call, you book the appointment with confidence because you know you can help them. You go to the home, you get in the door, you sit down at the kitchen table, and you don't do something today. That's weird, right? It's weird not to submit a request for coverage. Like, think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's very weird. So when I'm in the home, like, I don't really ask them if they want the insurance. I'm telling them they're getting it. It's I'm showing them what they can qualify for and helping them it fit into their budget, right? So like, I'm not. I think what it comes down to is like some people try to go out and they just want to they want to sell insurance. You're not doing that. You're helping people. So getting out of the uncomfortableness and being bold in the house and standing up for their family. I've had people where I've been bold, stood up, and I had a death claim 14 days later. But I've also had homes. I had a son call me 3 weeks ago where the father was declined by a company, and then I wasn't able to get him to move on the next option, and he passed away. And my number was in his phone as insurance guy. And I had to tell the son that I couldn't, I didn't tell him I couldn't help his dad, but that was gut wrenching, right?
Yeah.
And so whenever I come in a house and I don't help someone, I'm kind of mad, pissed off a little bit because I'm like, what did I not do? I failed a family. It's never someone else's fault, right? It's not the client, it's not the agent. No matter how you look at it, it's always me. And you got to learn how you can get better as an individual and help serve people better. So I always take the mindset. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's helped me this entire year is understanding our clientele and going into it with, it's not about how much I can put in my wallet, it's how much protection I can provide to a family. And maybe it takes somebody a death claim. I think that's the changing point. That was wow, this is real. I mean, I'm getting chills now talking about it, and it's that changes your perspective when you realize what if I wouldn't have been able to overcome that? She wouldn't have been able to stay in her home. The situation is what it is. But so mindset, leads, mindset, being. I think another thing is being really consistent in your daily activities, right? I think a lot of people want to skip out working the weekends, right? If you want to be a Hall of Fame producer, I don't even know who you would be, but you have to be really, really good to not have to work the weekends.
Exactly.
I'm not that good, so I have to take advantage of all the days of the week.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, probably the biggest thing as far as my scheduling is I started to take mini travel trips, right? And this is a key. And if you're watching this and you're afraid, if you're afraid to get out of your backyard, you're really doing a disservice to your family and the money that you can provide. So I've never took a flight, right? I pick these areas that are about 3 hours away, and I cycle all of these towns, right? Wherever it is. Right, I mostly work South Carolina, so I'll pick up 5 cities, right, and I'll bounce around. There's always internet leads in one of those areas. There's always 100, so I'll bounce around. And I literally ran many travel trips nonstop for the last 6 months. So what happens on a travel trip? And I'll wrap this up here. When you're dialing on the phone for somewhere that you're not going to be for the next 3 weeks or month, there's urgency. Right? When I'm dialing on Monday to book Tuesday and Wednesday, and he tells me he's not available till Friday, I fight for that appointment. So it's like the psychology of filling up my schedule, right? Because I don't know when I'm going to be back out there. So by taking those mini travel trips, I had the same effect on your, whether you fly 8 hours across country or you go 3 hours away, it's still the same idea and concept. So mini travel trips, mindset of the sale, dialing at 8, buying leads consistently, $1,000, $2,000 a week, but $1,000 per dial day. All of those things combined, I think, really lead to helping more families.
Yeah, I agree. That's all just really good stuff. And Robby, as we wrap this up over the next few minutes, what are some other tips that you would give? I mean, he covered a lot. And you guys, if I heard him talk, basically, I'm just telling you, he would say almost a lot of the same things, right? He would. I mean, and that's the thing about Hall of Fame. So not, working weekends and travel trips, and you can talk about whatever you want, but go ahead and share a couple other ideas that maybe can help someone their focus and want to go to 400,000 plus this year. on their personal sales?
Well, basically, what we are saying is verbatim, and a lot of that's because our offices are right next to each other, and we bounce stuff off of each other throughout the year. We've done that. But one thing that I will tell all the new agents that are just coming on board with Family First Life, understand this: when I sit with a client, there's probably a 98, 99% chance I'm writing a policy. I'm writing a policy. I'm just telling you right now, I'm writing a policy for that person. And here's why. It's not because I'm trying to ram it down their throat or anything like that. They filled out a lead, wanting insurance. They answered my phone call when I called them, or they called me back. They agreed to an appointment, which I followed through and showed up. They let me in their home. They let me give them a presentation. Once that iPad opens up and I get the iPad going, there's a 99.9% chance that that person is going to purchase some life insurance. So understand that. Make sure that you book enough appointments that you see enough people, because just because you got 30 appointments doesn't mean you're going to see 30 people. But if you've got 30 appointments, you're going to see 12 to 15 of them. Here's another trick that I always did. I would go into the last day of our work week, which was Wednesday, and I'd know exactly what I needed. So I knew exactly what I needed that last day, and you can go back and you can look. But if you'll do that, and you do that for 52 weeks, when I set my appointments at the end of the night on dial days, I go back to my Google Calendar, and I look at all my events, and I look at the open spots. And then I go back to my phone log, and I go to the leads that's either a disconnected number, a wrong number, whatever the case may be. Maybe it was a landline, I couldn't get them. I treat all those as wrong numbers. Those are perfect leads. Nobody else has seen those people or talked to those people because the phone number's bad. But if you show up and knock on the door, your competition's not doing that. And that person filled this out. They want life insurance. So if you show up there, you've got a captive audience with that person, and you got a good chance. Probably 25% of my business that I wrote and issue paid this past year was strictly from door knocks. You talk to the number one guy this past year down in Florida, Giordano. He was asked the question. He says, well, now that you're at the top, you probably don't do any door knocks. He says, au contraire. The fact of the matter is he does door knock, which is why he's as good as he is. We do go out on the weekends, which is why we get the numbers that we get, because you got to understand this. On Saturdays, people are home, and that's where you're going to get them. So get out there and just be consistent and be persistent. Two things. In order to be successful, 90% of it is just showing up. Show up on dial days at the right time. Okay? Show up for your appointments. And the other 10% is having a great attitude. So if you show up with a good attitude, you got a 100% chance to be successful. So go get it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Attitude and activities for sure wins every time. So as we wrap this up, Robby, tell them how to get a hold of you. They want to work with you. We're in Charlotte, but he's everywhere. And then we're going to have Mike do the same thing. So we're going to work with a Hall of Fame producer. Here you go. And we want you to just be at Family First Life if you're looking at this. And if you're with Family First Life, reach out to us. We'll help you any way we can. We want you to grow, want our business to grow. We're going to $1 billion this year with Family First Life. So we want to help everybody win. And that's what it's about. So, Robby, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, so you can get a hold of me with my cell, which is 910-540-6756. You can also come to our offices here in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is just 5 miles south of Charlotte, North Carolina, right across the line, real close to Carowinds. If you've ever been to Carowinds, we're right there. So just reach out to us. Come see us. We've got office space. We're looking to grow. So let's do it.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, you can reach out to me, 704-572-5096. Follow us on Instagram, FFL Valiant, and Mike Curry _FFL, and love work with anybody.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's been an honor to be with you guys and welcome you to the Hall of Fame. So congratulations. I can't wait to see you guys put those red jackets on in February. 3rd through the 5th. Make sure you sign up today. Again, FFL convention.com. Make sure you go there today. And thanks, and please like or subscribe to our page, Family First Life Velocity, Weekend Warriors podcast. We appreciate you so much for being on today. There's a clap.